Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's Liv. And today I have just a quick thing to show, and it has like a little joke in the middle, but it's gonna be like really subtle. Not really. So yeah, damn, I'm looking like a Taliban and shit. Okay, so anyhow, uh, let me clear that out and yeah, I'm just gonna let the console do the talking here. Look at this shit. Oh, what? Okay, so that was supposed to fail. That was supposed to fail. Okay, so I've already ruined the surprise. All right. So all right. So this is the new thing I've been working on. It's like a really short, right? And what this thing is doing actually, it's reading a file, right? To do that money, and you give it like the name of like the goal, right? So the overarching goal of this task list, right? So like these are the requirements for a certain thing, and you have like a list of things, right? You know, and you just do to do, and it will look for the to do that money on your current right on wherever you are at the moment. And so yeah, now you can just walk through here and find your task. And look at this. This is really cool. You know, you can just press enter. Oh, and look at that. We have a progress bar and shit, right? And when I close this, it will save. See, like now this has like a little X, and if I do to do again, you know, the tasks are already there. So, you know, I'm gonna undo all of this because I haven't actually done these things. But, well, that's kind of crazy. Um, this was supposed to fail. How did this happen? I have no idea. Um, actually, I do have some idea. Let me just check real quick, as I will explain why this was supposed to fail. But first, I want to make sure that I'm not mistaken. And yes, aha. Okay, so what actually happened was the live version, so the release quote unquote version of this module uh, found on the live folder, it's not updated to the latest version, which does not have a get set anymore, right? So yeah, it get set is like at the core of a lot of libraries, because it's like a really short thing, you know. It's just sort of like a function that will unset. I'm sorry, it will unset. No, I mean what's the fucking word, man? It will check if you passed it a value. If you have, it will set key to that value, right? So whatever is at that key on that particular hash, it would set it to the value provided, and then it will return whatever is there. So it's a getter and a setter at the same time. So and this is a function I used in a lot of classes. And so when I took this out without realizing, you know, for some reason I forgot that this was a library function that was supporting like basically all of my other classes. So yeah, now I have to restore it. And I'm going to explain to you why I took it out, okay? So, let me just restore it so I can actually. But I will to do take this out. Okay. So now if I, moment of truth, okay? So if I rebuild this, and try to do again. Okay, so it doesn't break anymore. All right, that's good. That's good. Okay. So why did I take that thing out? It's a bit of a long story, but I'm gonna try and explain it and make sense. Okay. So no, not ano, nano. Fucking hell. Okay, so nano, and actually I don't remember what the file is called. Okay. So plots. Okay, so plots.pm, and I'm going to open up the test file as well because why not? So what is plots? It's a sort of a blueprint. No, actually, this has a name. It's a meta class. It's sort of like a meta class, right? So it's a class that produces other classes, right? Something like that. I said utilities for making object-oriented Perl modules. It's a meta class. It's a fucking meta class, and that's all there is to it. Or you could say it's a meta class, but that would be too pretentious. So we're just going to go with, just meta. But anyhow, and this thing has basically get set um, with an additional check for the validity of the arguments, right? So you can pass a subdivision to this that will check that the value you passed is valid for this attribute. So yeah, kind of cool. Actually, kind of cool. So anyhow, why did I make this? Would be the question, the better question. Because if you look at this module, it's not very long, but if you look at it, you likely feel confused. Like, what are these? What on earth? Like, Liev, what have you been smoking? You know? But, yeah, your Uncle Liv does not smoke that bad stuff, okay? So I just want to put that out there. Uncle Liv does not smoke that bad stuff. Now, what this is it's a tag, right? It's well, the formal name it's Escape, but a little bit of story. I was doing regular expressions in Python of all languages, and I had a problem trying to detect a particular pattern because what I was using to as delimiters were two very common characters, right? And so sometimes I would do the opening delimiter and then the closing one, and it was too common, so I will accidentally make the closer for that sequence, and so the escape would terminate, and that would ruin my day. And so I came up with this sequence, which is basically uh, four characters that you never use together, right? So it's impossible to get this wrong. It's absolutely impossible to get this one wrong, because this is it's not something you use in any language, and this is not something you use in any language. So basically, free real estate, right? So yeah, um, and what I'm using it for here is just like a string that I know I'm not going to that I know means nothing in Perl, and so I just use that and then just replace it for a value, right? So it's just like a placeholder. It's like a placeholder, and when I'm ready to put the actual value in there, I just put the actual value in there, and there's nothing else to it. But what's the reason for this? Well, this is like a subroutine generating macro, right? So if you see here, we have all of these prototypes. These are basically prototypes. So this is a string. This is like a code string, I like to call it. And it's basically a prototype for a function, right? And so it has these placeholders, and because basically the function would be the same for a multitude of attributes, of class attributes. And so all you really have to do is to replace these placeholders for the right value according to the attribute. And so this is a function generator, basically. And we can use that to make classes. And here I have a little example of that. And actually, forget about that. I have way too many of those, but anyhow. So what I'm gonna do is, and I did not have this prepared at all. I just kind of got lucky here. Okay, so I'm gonna just run this once, show you the generated code, and then I'm gonna actually create the class that I've just generated, and and instantiate it and things like that. Okay. So if I run it, it's test plots, and here we have the generated code. It's really simple, and so it gave us the new, right? And so it will do two things, kind of like three, but let's say two. Okay, so you pass this a list, which takes the form. Say you do class net, or I think it's new. Yeah, it's new. Oh well, anyhow. And you basically do attribute value, right? And so it will take that hash and say, okay, so do we have this value, right? So did you pass in a name? If you have, then it will use it, but only if it is a valid value for that attribute. Else it will throw an error, right? And how can we determine is something a valid argument? We pass a code reference. Okay, so here I'm just going to use a valid name, which just returns true if the passed string follows my rules for a valid name. Okay, you could use your own. Then the third value in here is actually, let me just break this down. So the third value in here it's just a combination of flags. Okay, so they're right here. Okay, so man would mean manual, so generate no getters and setters and weird shit like that. Just I'll do it manually. It will be too weird generating this stuff. But for most things, you can just say get and say or set or whatever. And this one is experimental. Don't use it. But yeah. So here I'm saying tree, so it's actually get and set, right? So I can say, what is it? It's plots attr set bitwise or attr get, and it will generate the same code. Actually, let me just show you. Shit. Okay, I fucked up in there. Okay, give me a second here. I did give you a code ref, man. What's this? I totally gave you a code ref. I think I'm supposed to do it like this. Yeah, okay. All right. All right. Okay, so why do I have to pass it as a string? I'll have to look into that. That's a little bit weird. Uh oh, because I'm generating a string, right? I have to pass it as a string because I am constructing strings, so I do have to do that. I can't just paste the code reference because else it'll just say, you know, code at, you know, hex, whatever. And right, and you see here it calls this rule, and you know, if this is not true, then you know, value is invalid for attribute name. And actually, let me just show you that, because I think it'll be funny. So if I just pass that that thing to an evolve, and I say name 5, and 5 is an invalid name, then you know it will tell me that value 5 is invalid for attribute name of class test. Okay, so isn't that cool? uh I mean, I think it's pretty cool that you can do shit like that, no? All right, so yeah, it will, right. So I have to stringify it in this case. Okay, and that is still not valid because by my definition it needs to be the first character can only be an underscore or a uppercase or lowercase character, right? So a letter, word character. I think this is like the escape you can use in most regex engines. And then for the second character, you can do anything else. So anyhow, if I pass it as single underscore, it should accept it, and yes, it does, and it prints the name. And if I just do this, and because this is a getter setter, oh wait, look, I gave it a default value, right? So every new instance has a default value, right? If I pass no name, then we will just get the default. So it gives me none, and that is what the default is. So great. I can make the default be a function call, right? So I can say sub default name, say, and why not? Let's make this more interesting. And I'm going to say tech, and I'm just going to say return. Actually, I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to say no name, or maybe I can say none hash. And I think I want to do this with a, yeah, why not? Let's do it with a sprintf. Okay, so I'm gonna say for I, and I'm gonna give it id plus plus. Okay, so I think that's correct. It should be okay. So now I'm gonna do default is going to be default name, and actually I have to call the function for this to happen. And there we go. So, but the format was not correct, so that's kind of heartbreaking. Can I do it? Oh, because so. All right, right. So you do need to put the character up front, right? I had forgotten that. So if I say said, no. If I say I don't think that's valid. No, it's not. Okay, so but 0 is valid. Okay, so that's fine. There is a way. There is a way to insert like any character in that padding, but I don't quite remember what the format is. It's kind of weird. So anyhow, if I create multiple objects, right? So now it will give me 1, and if I keep doing it, it would just increase, right? So it's always going to give me a new number. You could also, you know, create a stack, suppose. Say my stack, and say that's, I don't know, yeah, between 0 and, yeah, 256. And you just pop, right? So pop stack. So it will give you the top, the value at the top. and that's kind of cool. So anyhow, um, oh yeah, um, what else I was thinking about showing? Oh yeah, I think this. It's kind of cool. Yeah, it's kind of cool. It lets you default things, right? It's pretty good. But as I was saying, it's confusing as all hell. So I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to work with this, but I'm gonna be playing around with it because generating initializers, getters and setters, boilerplate, right? So it's generating boilerplate is sort of like the golden grail, at least to me. You know, never write at the same thing twice. That's sort of like the idea here. But then the problem with this mentality is that then all of the time you just changing one piece of boilerplate for a shorter piece of boilerplate for another shorter piece of boilerplate, and at one point you cannot make it smaller. At some point you're gonna have to make a call, right? At some point you're gonna have to include a library and make a library call, and that's all there is to it. Yeah, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. So yeah, and oh yeah, right, now I remember. But this is another topic that's I don't have anything to show much for this, but what the hell, I'm just gonna show you. So okay, I basically just found out, like dummy, right? So I love this language, but I just found out about this. Perl has this really kick-ass feature called source filters, right? So source, like like source. No, source like in source code, like a filter for your source code. You know what that translates to? Preprocessors. Okay? Preprocessor. It has a preprocessing step, and you can stack them. That's right. You can stack them. This shit is crazy. So yeah, and I don't want to go over like what I'm trying to do here because it's not going to make a whole lot of sense, and much less right now. Okay, so I'm not gonna try. Uh, but I'm just going to show you like the kind of shit that you can do with this. Half-fasting it as always. Okay, so I'm gonna say that I would just want to take the current line and replace every instance of as. I want to replace it. I don't know. I suppose with a value. And to know the value of as, I guess I'm going to look into my macros to figure out what the value of as is. Okay. So I could have worded this better, but I'm feeling a little bit un-Islamic. So anyhow, so value it's macros, not mass. Oh, shit. Okay, it's oh man, no, this is not right. This is not right. This is not what I was created to do. To make jokes about buttocks and shit. But anyhow, I'm gonna take value. I'm gonna replace ass with its proper value, right? So this is top-notch stuff. You know that, baby. This is top-notch stuff. So yeah, yeah, and I'm just going to half-ass this. I'm going to register the macro like right away, right? So s is going to be equal to. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it right, man. I'm gonna do it right. Okay. So we're gonna look for a define. Okay. So like let's. I want to do it sys style, but I'm gonna do it peso style. Okay. So that's my own way. Okay. So if current line matches this pattern, and if you don't know regular expressions, and probably even if you do, this is not going to make a whole lot of sense. But you know what the hell? I'm just gonna do it. So anyhow, it should be, I guess, it should be this, and then anything followed by something that is not this. No, actually, anything that is not followed by this, because this is the closer. So it's gonna have to be, you know, not a semicolon, and I actually have to capture this shit. So anything that is not a semicolon, or a semicolon followed by something that is not the what do you call this? Greater or lesser than? I'm gonna say greater than because I don't know. Do you take the left or the right first? I'm gonna go for the left, so greater than. And I need to negate that. And yeah, and I think that should be that. And we have to do this at least one character. And we are capturing the insides, and so that is exactly what we want. And so if this matches, my value is going to be right here. Okay, so all I have to do is just pick it up. Okay, and I'm just going to assign this to as, and that's going to be that. Okay, so yeah, because else I would have to search by key, and that would take me all day. So I want to get this thing over with like right now. Okay, so all right. So I'm going to say macros as is going to be equal to value. All right. So that's a wrap. Yeah, I think that should be right. Okay, so now let me just oh, I already have this thing open, wouldn't you know? So anyhow, let's just define this shit. I'm going to say that's 7. Okay. And I guess I'm going to delete that line just so I don't shoot myself in the foot accidentally. Okay. And that's right. And my computer is making a lot of weird noises, and I don't like this. I do not like this one bit. Oh, it's not so bad. 41 degrees. Come on. Grow a fucking spine. Let me check. Am I overtaxing this? Well, fuck. Okay, so real quick. Let me just show you what I, you know, the kind of rig that Uncle Liv is rolling with. Okay, so let me just show you. Okay, so this is the engine of doom. This is the motherfucking engine of doom, baby. Look at this shit. You know, like I don't even have a graphics card anymore. It's on its last leg. You know, it's about to explode. I'm risking my life here for you, man. I'm risking my life here. Okay, so anyhow, shrink this up. Okay. So what I'm gonna do, and what I suppose I should have done from the start, I'm just going to close Firefox, because you know, browsers are like the spawn of the devil. So anyhow, all right. So I can't clear because I'm running this. Okay, anyhow. So I'm gonna clear that, and now I'm going to just printf as. Okay. So I'm gonna. I should have chosen another key, but you know, this is what I did instead. So now let's just go into Automat, and I'm going to run the test for LightPearl, and we get 7. And now if I rephrase this and I say, I don't know, hello there. Okay, so we don't get the full thing, so that means I need to actually double wrap this thing. So maybe that will work. And there we go. Hello there. So can I do this without the spaces? I don't think so. It shouldn't work. Oh, it does work. Nice. So it should still work if I do it like this, probably, maybe. Right now. Okay, so hello, the other, right, because I need to stringify it. Right, so I can do a Q. So Q as hello there. All right, so that's nice. We could do a less rude version of this, but I worked today. Today I woke up at 3 a.m. and it's about five, and my brain is a spaghetti. So yeah, I'm just the asses and shits and tits are just gonna come out of my mouth, and I'm not in my like in my right mind, as I'm completely sleepless. I should go to bed, but it's too early to go to bed, so I will not do it, not yet. But yeah, anyhow, I hope you found these little bit of an insane session somewhat informative. Now I'm gonna go uh, do cool things. Okay. So, but first I'm just going to talk a little bit. I'm going to take the turban off for a minute because my head is hot right now. So, anyhow, I'm going to talk a little bit about what this thing means. Basically, this source filter thing. It's a pre-processing step that you can do. But the thing is, this is not like a C macro. You can actually, give it. You can actually code the behavior, right? So you can actually have Perl scripts that transform your code. Okay, so you can have different kinds of constructs. So here I made it so when you have this kind of line and a new line after it, right? So if I do it like this, it's not going to work, right? So it's just going to consume the whole line. So you actually have to put a new line there. So it's not the best. It's definitely not the best. But with enough time, I don't know about you, but I could totally just take this thing and make like a very small subset of Perl, like a superset, if you will. Like shit, I could make an entirely different language just out of this shit. Like, I'm serious about this. Like, I can do it. Yeah, I can do it. You know. So yeah, if you don't hear anything from me for the next 3 months, it's because I'm actually doing it. It's because I'm actually doing it. I could do a lot of crazy shit with this. I have the the parsing utils. I have a lot of the funky regular expression shit in Lang. Um, I have some stuff for like syntax trees and stuff. I can use the memory block kind of crap. Like I could give actual pointers to Perl, and that would be nice too. So I could do a lot of shit with this, a lot of really nice stuff. Um, the thing is, I really need to run some tests, right? Because I don't know how fast it would be. I'm assuming not a lot, so I need to be as conservative as humanly possible. But I mean, shit, if I can make it work, then I can make it work. So yeah, it's gonna be good. And that's it from me. Have a good one. and pray for my soul. Bye, man.